Hello, welcome back to another HP Gaming's GameLINK video. My name is Matt and this is of course Charlotte, and we are here to present another GameLINK Junior but maybe not so junior video. We'll talk about that. We've got something very special for you today. I know I say that every single time, but today, well, to me anyway, every game is special. We're going to get straight into it today, aren't we? We're going to do an unboxing today. And what was it? It's a movie. It's a bit of a movie tie-in, which might give it away, but at the same time, if you've read the description of the video, you know exactly what we're unboxing anyway. It is designed at junior gamers, but I think it's going to be pretty good for senior gamers all alike as well. It is, of course, the OP's version.
Toy Story!
It is Toy Story, Obstacles and Adventures, and it is a deck building game. It is for 2 to 5 players. Now this is by Prospero Hall, the same people that made and designed Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, a cooperative deck building adventure. That is the same group here. This one plays 2 to 5 players right out of the box. You do not need the expansion. It details with the films, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, some of the short films, and maybe Toy Story 4 as well. We don't know, we haven't seen what's in the box yet.
No, can we just get started?
Charlotte wants to get straight into it. First things first though, what do you think of the box? I mean, it's Toy Story IP, so it's obviously going to do well.
It's very smooth.
Very smooth, very pretty. What do you think of the picture on the front? They're going off on an adventure.
And they still have the same characters. I think you get to be all different characters, like these characters in the box.
Yeah, I think you do get to play as the characters in the box. So with the characters in the box and the characters in the films, who do you think you get to play as?
Maybe the dinosaur, Woody,
Rex.
Jessie, and Buzz, and some of the different else characters. I don't know, because we haven't got straight into them yet. But
okay, well we're opening up now, aren't we? So it's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a big box, isn't it?
Please.
The plastic goes
On the floor.
Yes, it does.
And we always do that when we're doing an unboxing video.
But we don't do it when we're not doing an unboxing because we're responsible and we recycle properly, don't we?
Whoa.
Whoa, it's a big box. Now, for those of you that have played Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, you'll know already what you're about to see inside here. Hang on, before we open, very important. She's a bit keen. We are going to keep this as relatively spoiler-free as we possibly can. Now, one of the crazy things about the Harry Potter one was that when you open the box, the first thing you see is the Marauders map, which was very, very cool. This one is literally the box art and the logo for the game, which is bright, colourful, very, very inviting.
And it is the board.
And it is the board. So the board here is quite thick. There's a lot of board involved.
We move this out because otherwise
we'll pop the box just to the side, over there for now.
So I can get it.
So you can get all the bits and pieces out.
And then we'll set up the board.
So we'll set up the board. That's a fairly good idea. Let's have a look here and see what we've got.
It's a bit different than the Harry Potter board.
Is it?
It has Toy Story.
Oh yeah, it's got Toy Story on there. So what we'll do, lift this up a little, just here. So you can see there's different spaces for all the different cards. This side of the board is your deck or your market. It is a deck builder. Yes, Dad?
I think I know what that is.
Yeah, you think you know what that's going to be?
So that's the drawer, like...
The draw deck for...
villains, and these are the place for the villains.
The villain spaces are along here, and then you'll use your insight instead of attack points. You create insight into these hazards to help eliminate them from the game. This is the market space I mentioned earlier for the deck. It is a deck builder, so you obviously use resources to add cards to your deck and ultimately help defeat the hazards and move on to the next game. Now, it works a little bit differently. In Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, you had locations that you would add threat to. In this version, you have a game track, you have a progress indicator that gets from A to B, and if it gets all the way to the end, obviously you lose the game.
Yeah.
We're going to put the board to one side for now.
Yes.
And we will come back to that maybe a bit later. Let's have a look here. We'll fold it up
and
again.
We might do a playthrough if my sister doesn't wake up.
We'll get into a playthrough, not today, but we will get a playthrough down the track. Now the rule book, let's have a look and see what we've got the rule book here. Your overview, your objective, your 5 players, and then obviously you've got high colour rules as well. So the rules, the rule book I should say, is pretty in tune, pretty in depth. Now the one thing I will show you, it says here, open box 1 before you turn the page. Yeah, so we'll be opening box 1 for you at some point during the video, but the rulebook obviously gives you a few different bits and pieces as well. Now, the one thing that we will show you at the back here is you've got a log, so different player names and things.
That says players' names, so...
So what you've got here is the date of and the number of the adventure that you play, the players who played, the toys they played as, and win or loss ratio. But on this side, you'll see there's spaces for additional rules, because as you open new boxes, there are obviously additional rules and different components that come into play, which is all very exciting. Let's have a look at the inside of the box. So hang on, no, not the inside of the box, inside the box. So when you first open the box, you get all these components here. So you've got tokens, which are already pre-cut and in bags, which means there's no punching out of... I like punching stuff out of the boards. You do too, don't you? When you get punch, but these ones are already pre-cut for you. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different adventures to play through. And obviously you can't progress and open Adventure 2 until you've opened Adventure 1 and beaten the game. And then we've got over this side, player boards.
What's that?
The mini adventure boards and cards, and obviously space for all the cards that are inside here. So as you play, obviously you've got a good organisation tray. That's the one thing about this game and Harry Potter. The organisation for the components is outstanding, and I expect the quality to be just as fantastic. All right, Charlotte, sit back. We're going to have a look at these components before we open one of the boxes.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the character boards first. Now remember, there's 5 character boards.
Oh yeah.
We'll put the plastic on the floor. We have Woody. Now each of the character boards has a health tracker. If you get down to 0, you don't die, you get shelved. And if you get shelved, you discard half the cards in your hand, rounding down, and all the tokens you've got as well. But you do get to still take your turn, which is very important. So there's Woody.
Buzz.
There is Buzz. Oh, there is Rex. There you go. I didn't know Rex was in there. That's fantastic. Who's that? Bo Peep
and Jessie.
And Jessie. And you'll see they're in the more of a cartoon style toy box, toy packaging style, which I think is really cool as well.
Can we look at them?
You want to look at the tokens? I think we should look at these first, the little mini boards for the adventures. Now again, we might keep these relatively spoiler free. Take off this one.
Ow.
And, oh, you're right. Rubbish goes on the floor.
Those cards just squished my fingers.
So these are divider cards for the organisation. This is what I talked about. They provided you in the box with organisation cards for all the different components. Woody's starting cards, Bo Peep starting cards, Buzz Lightyear starting cards. We'll get close-ups of all these booster cards, adventure cards, and then you've got other bits and pieces as well. The hazards as well, which is obviously very bad. Those of you that know the franchise very well will know that is a symbol for Sid that he wears on his shirt. You want to open the tokens? Let's bring out the tokens. Let's have a look.
Now, these tokens look familiar.
The tokens, there is the insight tokens.
Daddy, the heart trackers.
And what are the other tokens? What are they called?
Bouncy balls.
Imagination, that's right. So insight and imagination
Daddy.
as opposed to attack and money, effectively. So each individual person has got their health tracker in their colour.
There's one more.
Yep.
There we go.
There should be one more. Why have we only got 4? Did we miss one?
Oh, them
Must be in the other box.
must be.
Just double check and make sure it's not in there. We should have got Rex, we've got Buzz, we've got Woody.
All of these are in there.
Is that one for Jessie? Ah, okay. So there's one board for Jessie, but there's no marker for Jessie. So I wonder if we can't use Jessie until the second adventure. Because Jessie wasn't in the first Toy Story, and I believe they go in movie order. So that would make sense. We don't get the tracker for Jessie until we beat Adventure Box 1.
And then we get to open that one.
That's right. So you've got your tokens. The chipboard tokens are very nice. They're quite thick. Make a good noise when you drop them for imagination. Do you want to open the Insight ones as well? You get it? Yep, that's it. Pop them down. Now, the Insight tokens are Luxo, the lamp, from the Pixar logo, which I think is fantastic, and that's the same with the imagination balls as well. So you'll find these 2 elements throughout most of the Pixar films, and they cross-reference each other, which is very cool. I do like the fact that these are a weird shape as opposed to just a lightning bolt or an attack symbol. That's quite cool.
And these are different shapes.
Yeah, different shapes as well. They're not just love hearts, they're printed hearts on a chevron. So you've got more space for your tokens as well. Let's open box 1 and let's see what we've got. There's nothing else. Oh, hang on, before we open it. So you've got number 1. Toy
and
Story,
then we've got
Adventure
number
and
2,
Obstacles.
number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6.
I've been told box 4 is actually pretty hard. So we'll see what we've got in. Oh my goodness, there is a ton of content in that box. Right, and remember, we've got to show everybody, okay?
Oh!
Alright, hang on. Someone's very, very excited.
So we got these 2.
Okay, so start with this one. Let's put this to the side
Oh no,
first.
there's a big whole board. See?
That's right. So this is your adventure board for Adventure 1. Hold it up so the camera can see, darling. So this is the adventure board. Now there are 2 sides because the games, that's one thing they had a criticism for of Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. It didn't scale as well, or scaled exponentially. So if you had 2 players, it was sort of really quite simple, whereas if you got into 4 players, it was very, very, very difficult. So they've scaled the game and given you options. Different components change depending on your player count. So this adventure board, so this is a 4 to 5 player board that has obviously more of a track, so it takes longer to get the moving band to the end of the game. And on here, it's a 2 to 3 player, so it's a shorter distance, which means you've got less time to do all the bits and pieces you need to do to win the game. And that sits at the top of the board, and you move through it. Obviously, there's different player boards for different adventures, which I think is really cool. So that means, obviously, when you get into Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, you're not just in the moving van, there's other things going on, which is very cool. Charlotte has a set of cards. They look like they're hazard cards. So the hazard cards are events, treacheries, things like that, that you will have to overcome in order to advance. So this hazard card here, again, spoilers. If you don't want anything spoiled for you, by all means, skip ahead a little bit, or better yet, stop the video and then jump into our playthrough. But we're going to give you a bit of an idea about how this all works. So with the hazard cards, you draw these, they're placed on the bottom of the game board, and you have to match the number of insight on the card in order to defeat or pass the hazard. This hazard is struggle with jealousy from Toy Story, obviously the first film, and it is Woody and Buzz having a bit of a fight at the Pizza Planet, where they get lost because they're too busy arguing and the car takes off without them. You require 6 insight on this card to defeat it. Obviously defeat all the different hazards and you win the game.
And these have to get 5.
Yep, but they also have different abilities. So this one here stops you from drawing any extra cards. You still draw at the end of your turn, but you can't draw extra cards for other players. That also means that you gain a reward if you defeat the hazard. In this case, you would all draw an extra card. This one allows you to gain health back.
7.
Defuse the big bomb allows all toys to draw a card and move the truck back 1 extra space. And the final hazard for the first game requires 8 tokens, and it is to escape from Sid. And if you do that, all toys win, which is what you want. So that's the first lot of hazards for the game. We'll have a look through the rest of the components in box 1. Hang on, one thing at a time. Alright.
Hang on.
Here, let me tip the box. That's what I said, we'll tip the box and then we can get it all out in once. Alright, here we go. Oh, what have we got here? What's that? Is that a wheel? What sort of token is that? You reckon that's for this one?
Let's see if it fits the circle.
See if it fits. Start on this one.
Yep,
There
it does.
you go. Yep. So this is the toys making their way along the board here, and you draw 1 hazard, or 1 danger card, I should say, on your turn. So these are the danger cards.
Danger.
Now the danger cards are Gamma Sector 4, very much Buzz Lightyear. They are different pitfalls that you'll encounter along the way. So in this case, we've got here, you get lost. So everyone who's playing loses 1 heart. Other things like you lose your grip, the active toy loses 2 unless they discard an item from their hands. It stops you from using cards, things like that as well. What else have we got in here? Feeling insecure. Playtime with Sid is a hazard you'll come across, or a danger you'll come across. Advance the token 1 space. Misguided plans. Argue with a friend, active toy, and their neighbours. Each discard a card and cannot draw any extra cards this turn. So you'll end up effectively hindering your fellow toys as well. We'll pop those there. All right, let's get rid of those. There's a few in there, so be careful. You don't want to separate them all. You got it?
Yep.
Good job. Okay, so let's see.
Oh, you can have a packet.
These are starting cards.
You can have a packet.
Yeah, those are Buzz's starting cards. We'll put those ones down for now. We'll just look through Woody's and Buzz's. Yeah, look through Buzz's set, and those ones we'll get through next. So put those ones here. All right, so these are the starting card decks for the characters. Those ones as cards for later. So pop those to side. I want you to go through these ones here. Each of the starting cards, there should be about 10 or so starting cards, or starting cards for your deck that you would play with. So in this instance, you've got things like friends like the Sarge from the Army Man.
Yes.
What has Buzz got? Space aliens, that makes sense. There you go, space aliens, which allows you to draw...
laser.
Gain insight or gain health.
Laser.
What is it?
Laser.
Oh, the laser light. Yes, gain insight, and then if you play an item card, you get to draw an extra one. Spaceship. What else we got? Playful trait. Gain 1 imagination. So cards that allow you to generate imagination to buy more cards, generate insight to do damage, that sort of thing as well. Woody has obviously his cowboy hat. Yeah, cowboy hat.
And I think, Daddy, what's this?
I'll tell you what they are in a minute. We'll have a look at those. Woody has his cowboy hat, which allows him to gain insight, and any army men that are on the board to purchase and add from the market costs 1 less insight. So that's a good card to have. Sheriff's badge to allow him to gain insight tokens as well. Imagination, I think I said, for the army men. And then we've got player cards as well. So the ability for Woody in box 1 is there's a snake in my boot. So I'm not sure if that's actually an ability or just a quote at this point. Obviously that may change as you get into other boxes. What are you doing? Being crazy. And these are just player aids, just for turn orders and things as well. So we'll keep those together. Those are Woody's. And then we've got Buzz's cards.
Slink?
That's a Slinky Dog, but is that a Rex card? Because you get to play as Rex, the dinosaur.
Rex.
So it's a starting deck for Rex. I'll look at Bo Peep's cards. You want to go through Rex's cards?
Yeah, because these are very rah.
Yeah, that's right. But he's not really a scary dinosaur, is he? So what have we got?
We got Slinky the dog.
Yeah, as a friend. So it looks like each deck starts with a friend card in it, which I think is cool.
And there's
a friend and a couple of items. So he's got a strategy guide. So Rex, obviously, in Toy Story 2 is fighting Zurg in the computer game. Yeah, there you go. Remote video game controller.
And these are, I think, all of these have, I think, all of these cards are all in the same decks.
Starting decks, yeah, because you've got to have ways to get more cards, don't you? Okay. It's interesting, though, that the Rex's cards have references to the second film.
Oh, here we go. Daddy, I know why this has that on the back.
Yeah, it's for different abilities. Okay. I'm going for fearsome here, but I'm just not feeling it. Quotes from the films. So we'll put those there. Those are Rex's cards. There we go. And then we'll go through Bo Peep's. Hang on a second. We'll go through those in a sec. So Bo Peep has her sheep, obviously, funnily enough. That allows her to gain insight and health. Her bonnet, which allows her to gain imagination. And the crook, which allows her to go through both. She gains insight, and if she defeats a hazard, she gains an extra imagination point as well. Lots of imaginations. And then some ability cards as well. The ability cards, it looks like they're just as filler. Obviously down the track they may evolve in the other boxes. We don't know. We're not going to get to open those just yet. Then this is going to be the basic deck of cards that make up the market. I think Charlotte's got here. Things you can purchase from the market to better your deck and allow you to do more things. More things and abilities. So this is Babyhead from the first film, obviously, one of Sid's amalgamations of toys. And if you purchase Babyhead for 2 imagination, she'll help you regenerate health. And if you discard this, you and your neighbour also gain 2 hearts.
This is Ham.
Ham, yes, Ham. You can keep all unused tokens at the end of your turn. That's a very, very good card to have, and that's why it costs 4. It means if you don't spend anything or you can't spend anything to buy, they roll over onto your next turn, unless of course you get shelved, which is not a good thing.
No,
Another friend, gain insight. If you discard this, you get to draw a card with one of your neighbours. What else we've got? Let's have a look at some items. We'll go through these here. Find some item cards for me, so we'll get through the Army Man. Mr. Potato Head is there. All toys gain 2 imagination. We've got some more Army Men. Items in red. What have we got? We've got some baby monitors. Allow you to draw 2, gain 2 insight, and gain 2 imagination, draw a card. If you play an Army Man this turn, move the token back 1 space. Because obviously if the token makes it all the way to the end, then it's game over and the toys lose. The toy chest, gain 2 imagination or draw a card, you can choose which one you're after. What else have we got? More of the same. What other ones have we got there? More toy chests.
More toy chests. What is it? Oh, here we go.
Pizza Planet Truck. All toys gain 1 insight, 1 imagination, 1 health, and draw a card, but it costs you 8 imagination to get it. That's going to be very expensive, particularly in the first game. RC is there. It helps you gain insight as well. And then you've got the Troikas, which is like a babushka doll.
These alien cards are different.
Are they? They're cautious traits. They get laid to gain different abilities and tokens.
This one feels like sick, I think.
No, he's a bit cautious. So he gives you 2 insight to attack your hazards with. More cautious. Cooperative. Any one toy gains 2 hearts, and if it's a neighbour from you, you gain an imagination. So this game also rewards you for helping your other players and fellow players, which really, I think, denotes that cooperative aspect, which they're all the same. Enthusiastic, gain insight and health. More of the same, more of the same, more of the same. Enthusiastic. Persuasive, gain 2 imagination, and then you may put friends you acquire on top of your deck instead of on your discard pile. So any friends you buy off the board, you can put them on top. Cool, and we've got a few other cards there as well which do all the same stuff. Again, we'll get close-ups of all of those. Okay, so we're pretty much going to have to stop there because we don't want to go through the other boxes and spoil things for you. However, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing else in there. A lot of content in just that first box alone. Obviously, once you successfully beat that mission, you go into box 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And once you've beaten game 6, you've effectively beaten the game. Obviously, as things evolve over time, the hazards get longer, the dangers get more intense.
We might do a playthrough with you very soon when we have a game with it.
Yeah, so we're going to have a couple of games and then do a live playthrough. Or do a playthrough. We may end up doing a live playthrough. We'll see what happens. If you haven't checked out our live video, make sure you do that. You will also be able to join us for our next live broadcast. There should be a link on our channel page. And if you haven't got... Go on.
Because we didn't do a long live video, we're going to do another live video.
Yeah, so in our live videos we do live playthroughs, also some other surprises as well. Our first ever live stream, we did a couple of playthroughs, and then we unboxed Marvel Champions, the card game, which we've since had a couple of games of today. If you haven't already seen as well, we have a Patreon page as well. If you'd like to support us, by all means, you can jump on the Patreon page and give us some love and have a say in what games you want to see us unbox, play through, do tournaments of, all that sort of stuff too. If you want to jump on the the YouTube page, have a look, give the videos a like, click the notifications button, subscribe, just so you stay in touch with us whenever we post something new. It's very important as well that you do subscribe, so that when you join us for a live chat, you'll be able to comment and things as well, and we can chat back with you. Other than that, folks, we're going to have a bit of a practice, a bit of a play run here, get a feel for what this game's about, and then we'll come back to you with a bit of a playthrough, a bit of a verdict, maybe even a bit of a review very soon.
And we're going to set everything up like the game is.
Yeah, we're going to set it up like it's meant to be played, have a playthrough of Game 1, wish us luck, and until next time, we will see you back at the table very, very soon, and may all your games be good ones. Bye for now.
Dream of games.
Dream of games. Fair enough. Let's all dream of games. Alright, folks. Thank you very much. That's it for today. We'll see you next week for another video. And again, have fun.
Good night.
We'll see you back at the table very soon. Bye for now.
Good
Bye.
night.